What if death isn't the end but a doorway? You've heard the stories, near-death experiences, ghostly encounters, past life memories. But is there any scientific basis to the idea that consciousness continues after our bodies stop functioning? Today, we're diving into cutting-edge research that's challenging our understanding of life, death, and the nature of consciousness itself. From quantum physics to neuroscience, a new frontier is emerging, one that might finally bridge the gap between science and the afterlife. Get ready to question everything you thought you knew about what happens when we die. The concept of life after death has been a cornerstone of human belief systems for millennia. From ancient Egyptian burial practices to modern-day religious doctrines, the idea that our consciousness survives beyond physical death has shaped cultures, laws, and individual lives. But in our age of scientific skepticism, is there any room for such beliefs? Surprisingly, the answer might be yes. Over the past few decades, researchers from various scientific disciplines have begun to approach the question of life after death with rigorous methodologies and open minds. These aren't fringe scientists or New Age gurus. We're talking about respected academics from institutions like Harvard, Yale, and the University of Virginia. Their work is shedding new light on the nature of consciousness, the functioning of the brain, and the potential for human awareness to exist independently of our physical bodies. While we're far from definitive proof, the evidence they're uncovering is compelling enough to make even the most hardened skeptics take notice. Next are 7 groundbreaking areas of research that are pushing the boundaries of our understanding and might just prove that death isn't the end after all. 1. The quantum soul theory. When you hear quantum physics, you probably think of subatomic particles and complex mathematical equations. But what if the same principles that govern the quantum world also apply to human consciousness? Dr. Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist and professor at the University of Arizona, has proposed a radical theory. Our consciousness might be the result of quantum processes occurring in microtubules within our brain cells. These microtubules, tiny protein structures, could be the interface between the quantum world and our macro-level awareness. Here's where it gets mind-bending. According to quantum theory, information can't be destroyed. If our consciousness is indeed quantum in nature, it might persist after the physical brain stops functioning. This could explain near-death experiences, out-of-body phenomena, and even the sense of a continued existence after death. Hameroff's theory, developed in collaboration with renowned physicist Sir Roger Penrose, suggests that when we die, the quantum information that comprises our consciousness doesn't disappear. Instead, it may be released from the microtubules and dissipate into the universe. 2. The hidden language of the dying brain. You've probably heard that your life flashes before your eyes when you're about to die, but what if your brain is doing something far more complex in those final moments? Dr. Sam Parnia, Director of Critical Care and Resuscitation Research at NYU Langone School of Medicine, has been studying what happens in the brain during and after cardiac arrest. His findings are reshaping our understanding of when death actually occurs. Parnia's research shows that even after the heart stops beating and blood flow to the brain ceases, electrical activity in the cerebral cortex can continue for up to 5 minutes. But it's not random firing. This activity shows patterns similar to those seen during deep meditation or dreams. Even more intriguing, some patients who were successfully resuscitated report vivid experiences during this period when they were clinically dead. These aren't just hazy impressions, but detailed accounts that often include accurate descriptions of events that occurred while they were unconscious. Parnia's work suggests that our current definition of death might be too simplistic. If consciousness can continue even when the brain isn't receiving oxygen, what does this mean for our understanding of the relationship between mind and brain? This research raises profound questions. Could this brief window of brain activity after clinical death be a transition period for consciousness? Are these experiences proof of an afterlife, or simply the last gasps of a dying brain? The answers could revolutionize our approach to both medicine and our understanding of human consciousness. 3. The Reincarnation Files. At the University of Virginia's Division of Perceptual Studies, researchers have been collecting and analyzing cases of young children who claim to remember previous lives. This isn't fringe pseudoscience. It's a rigorous, decades-long investigation that's yielding some startling results. Dr. Jim Tucker, who leads this research, has investigated over 2,500 cases of children with past life memories. Many of these cases involve verifiable details that the children couldn't have known through normal means. For example, a boy in Louisiana recalled details of being a World War II pilot, including the name of the aircraft carrier he flew from and specific details about the plane he flew. Investigation revealed that these details matched the life of a pilot who died in 1945, before the boy was born. What sets this research apart is its methodical approach. Tucker and his team don't just accept these stories at face value. They investigate each claim, searching for any possible way the child could have obtained the information normally. They also look for patterns across cases. One intriguing finding is that many of these children have birthmarks or birth defects that correspond to wounds or injuries from their alleged past life. Tucker has documented numerous cases where a child's birthmark matches the location of a fatal wound on the deceased person they claim to have been. This research challenges our understanding of memory, consciousness, and personal identity. If these cases are genuine, they suggest that some aspect of human consciousness might persist from one life to the next. But how? And what mechanism could allow for the transfer of such specific memories and even physical marks? While we're still far from definitive proof of reincarnation, this research opens up new avenues for understanding the potential continuity of consciousness beyond death. 4. The DMT Gateway. DMT, or dimethyltryptamine, is often called the spirit molecule. It's a powerful psychedelic compound that occurs naturally in many plants and animals, including humans. What makes DMT fascinating from a life-after-death perspective is the nature of the experiences it induces. Dr. Rick Strassman, a psychiatrist and researcher, conducted groundbreaking studies on DMT in the 1990s. He found that many participants reported experiences strikingly similar to near-death experiences, encounters with otherworldly beings, a sense of leaving one's body, and profound spiritual insights. But here's where it gets really interesting. DMT is produced in the pineal gland, often referred to as the third eye in various spiritual traditions. Some researchers hypothesize that the brain might release a large amount of DMT during death. This has led to a compelling theory. Could the DMT released at death be responsible for the mystical experiences reported by those who've had near-death experiences? If so, does this explain away the spiritual aspect of these experiences, or does it point to a biological mechanism for transitioning consciousness from life to death? Recent research has shown that DMT can actually promote the growth of new neurons and protect brain cells from damage. This raises intriguing questions about its role in the brain, particularly during traumatic events like approaching death. 5. The consciousness field theory. What if consciousness isn't produced by the brain but merely transmitted by it, like a radio receives radio waves? This is the provocative idea behind the consciousness field theory, proposed by researchers like Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. Sheldrake suggests that consciousness might be a field that permeates the universe, similar to the gravitational or electromagnetic fields. Our brains, in this model, would act as receivers and transmitters of consciousness rather than its producers. This theory could explain several puzzling phenomena, including near-death experiences, telepathy, and even the sense of being stared at. It also offers a scientific framework for understanding life after death. If consciousness is a field, it could continue to exist even when the physical brain ceases to function. Recent experiments in quantum entanglement lend some credence to this idea. Scientists have shown that particles can remain connected and influence each other instantaneously, even when separated by vast distances. Could our consciousness operate on a similar principle, remaining connected to a larger field even when our physical bodies die? 6. The Biocentrism Hypothesis. Dr. Robert Lanza, a renowned biologist and stem cell researcher, has proposed a radical new theory of the universe, biocentrism. This theory suggests that life and consciousness are fundamental to the universe. not just incidental byproducts of physical processes. According to biocentrism, space and time aren't fixed properties of the universe, but tools our minds use to understand our environment. Lanza argues that the universe is fine-tuned for life because life creates the universe, not the other way around. This might sound like philosophical wordplay, but it has profound implications for our understanding of death. If consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe and not just an emergent property of our brains, then it stands to reason that it might not end when our physical bodies die. Lanza's theory aligns with certain interpretations of quantum mechanics, particularly the idea that observation affects reality. If our consciousness shapes the universe, could it continue to do so even after death? Biocentrism offers a scientific framework for concepts that have long been the domain of religion and philosophy. It suggests that our consciousness might be immortal, not because of an afterlife in the traditional sense, but because consciousness itself is an intrinsic part of the cosmic fabric. 7. The memory trace experiments. Can memories exist outside the brain? It sounds impossible, but recent experiments with planaria, flatworms, have yielded results that challenge our understanding of where memories are stored. Dr. Michael Levin and his team at Tufts University conducted a fascinating experiment. They trained flatworms to navigate a simple maze, then decapitated them. Flatworms can regenerate their heads, and when they did, something extraordinary happened. They remembered how to navigate the maze. This suggests that memories might not be stored solely in the brain, but could be distributed throughout the body. Some researchers propose that memories might be stored at a cellular level, or even in the surrounding electromagnetic field of an organism. If memories can exist outside the brain, it opens up new possibilities for understanding consciousness and its potential to survive bodily death. Could our memories, and by extension, our consciousness, be stored in a way that persists beyond our physical form? These experiments are in their early stages, and much more research is needed. However, they challenge our fundamental assumptions about the nature of memory and consciousness. If memories aren't confined to the brain, could this explain phenomena like past life recall or the sense of continued existence reported in near-death experiences? The memory trace experiments represent a new frontier in our understanding of consciousness and its relationship to the physical body. They suggest that the self might be more distributed and resilient than we previously thought, opening up new avenues for exploring the possibility of life after death. As we've seen, the question of life after death is no longer solely the domain of religion and philosophy. Scientific research is pushing the boundaries of our understanding, challenging long-held assumptions about consciousness, memory, and the nature of reality itself. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.